Hello, welcome to the session on solving problems using while statement. In this unit, we shall see a few examples of using the while statement. The first problem is to reverse a number. This can be solved by using the while statement. We'll first separate the units digit, store it in a number, and then every time we separate a digit, we'll multiply the number by 10 and add this digit to it. So finally the output would be the reverse of the input number. So let us solve it. The first step is to take the number as input. Now let us use a variable called reversed number, and we'll start off with the number being 0. We'll separate the units digit and multiply the earlier reverse number by 10 and keep adding the units digit. And we shall do this until the number is greater than 0. And so that first the units digit is taken, and then the tens digit, and then the hundreds digit, and so on. Finally, print the reverse number. Let us save the file. Let us run it. There we have. Let's run it once again. There we go. Let us have a look at the code now. We'll start off with reverse number being 0. Every time inside the while loop, we'll start taking out the rightmost digit, which is the units digit, and add it to the reverse number multiplied by 10. And we do this so that the tens digit becomes units digit, and then the hundreds digit becomes tens digit, and so on. And we'll keep doing it until the number is not 0. And finally, we have the reverse number. That is how we can use the while loop to reverse a number. Now let us solve the following problem. The problem statement says, take a number as input, and if the number is odd, multiply it by 3 and add 1, and if it's even, divide it by 2. Print the number and repeat the process until the number becomes 1. So for example, if the input is 11, 11 is odd, so into 3 plus 1 is 34. 34 is even, so by 2 is 17, and into 3 plus 1 by 2, and so on until we get 1. What happens when we get 1? 1 is odd, so 1 into 3 plus 1 is 4 again. 4 will become 2, 2 becomes 1, and the cycle repeats after we get 1. So this sequence from 11 to 1 is called collage sequence for a number. So our job is to print the collage sequence for an input number. So let us solve this. Open a new file. simply print the number first, and then if the number is even, the number must be divided by 2. If it is not, and finally print the new number. Let us save the file. And run it. As we can see, we have achieved the first step. If the number is odd, it's into 3 plus 1. If it is even, then it's divided by 2. Now we have to achieve the step where it repeats until the number becomes 1, and that is done using the while statement. Now this process will repeat until the number becomes 1. Let us save it, run it. And there we have the collapse sequence for the number 11. Let us run it for a different number, an even number. There you go. And that is how, using a while statement, this problem can be solved. Now let us solve the following problem. We have to check if the number given as input is a perfect square or not. We shall solve this by using a while statement. Open a new file. The number is taken as input. We'll start off by assuming I as a square root. Let it be 1. Now while is less than the number, so this while loop will run until I square is either equal to or greater than the number. So by the time we are out of the while loop, if I square is equal to the number, then the number must be a perfect square. If it is not, then the number is not a perfect square. Let us save it and run. There we go. It's not. Let us see if it works for 1. It also works for 1. The reason being, when I is equal to 1 and the number is equal to n, this condition is false and the while loop does not run, and hence I remains 1. So since 1 into 1 is equal to 1, we get a perfect square. So and that is how we use the while loop to check if the given number is a perfect square or not. Now let us solve the following problem. The problem statement says, for a given number, we are supposed to print the largest divisor of that number, excluding the number. The divisors of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, and of course 24 is also a divisor of itself. So we are supposed to print the largest divisor, which is 12. Similarly, for 15 it's 5. For prime numbers, the only two divisors are the number and 1. Hence the largest divisor will be 1 and we have to print 1. So let us see how this problem can be solved. Now let us assume that the number is a prime number for which the largest divisor would be 1. Now if the number is not a prime number and there is a divisor, we shall find out and replace it in the later part of the program. So let us assume that divisor is 2. If this condition is true, I would be the smallest divisor for the number. For every divisor less than the square root of the number, there will be another divisor greater than the square root of the number that can be obtained by doing number by the divisor. So this way we'll get the smallest divisor and divide the number with that divisor to get the largest. And once we get it, we break out of it. And to keep the loop running, we do this. Finally, print the largest divisor. Let us save the file. And run it. The largest divisor for 25 is 5. This also explains the reason why we used equal to here. Why didn't we use just less than, and why we use less than or equal to? Because for a number like 25, the largest divisor would be its square root. Now let's run it for a different number. A composite number like 65, and now we'll run it for a prime number, which is 1. So and that is how, using the while loop, we can find out the largest divisor for a number. This brings us to the end of the unit. We have learned how to solve the following problems by using the while statement. Thank you for watching the video.